Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
Alleluia. Alleluia. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Jesus came to Capernaum with his followers, and on the Sabbath he entered the synagogue and taught. The people were astonished at his teaching, for he taught them as one having authority, and not as the scribes. In their synagogue was a man with an unclean spirit. He cried out, "What have you to do with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." Jesus rebuked him and said, "Quiet, come out of him." The unclean spirit convulsed him, and with a loud cry came out of him. All were amazed and asked one another, "What is this?" A new teaching with authority. He commands even the unclean spirits, and they obey him. His fame spread everywhere throughout the whole region of Galilee. The Gospel of the Lord.
We must be careful how we deal with authority. Authority is the ability to make right use with power. In other words, the power that I have, it should be used properly. And that authority comes from God. For example, who has the right to give life? Anybody? God. God alone. Your mom and dad had the authority, God-given, so that they could bear children. But the power of God is what brought the life into the world. It's something that we need to respect, and this is why the sin of abortion is so heinous. It's a misuse of power, and it's a misuse of authority. This power comes from God. And so we have to be careful that you could say in circumstances of our lives, we have borrowed authority. And we need to understand that borrowed authority comes from God. It allows us to be subject to the divine will of God. And yet, it doesn't come from us. It's God who gives us authority to do things. It's God-given. For example, Mr. Gillis. He's been given a God-given right in a Catholic school to have a certain amount of authority. And insofar as he uses his authority properly, the school benefits from everything. However, always coming from the power of God. And so people in authority, even for myself, we need to tread carefully on how we use our authority, that it doesn't affect anything that would be harmful. And so we trust in this authority. And Jesus had this authority. And this authority frightened demons, as we can see. Why? Because Jesus makes use of the power of God, because he is God. And he also has the authority to drive out demons. This is a good thing for us to understand also, because we literally can use borrowed authority to make the world a better place. Especially when you're looking at things like human trafficking, abortions. These things are subject to authority, and they must be guarded for the sake of human life. Otherwise, we will be people who use power to destroy life. And yet Jesus says that he came to have abundant life for us. And that's what we reach for. And it's in the sacraments of the church that we recognize that the power of God comes down to us, so that the sacraments can be working properly and making a better place for all of us here on earth as in heaven. The Ten Commandments are another example of this. The Ten Commandments marginalize proper authority. And we can see even today how chaotic things are. But when authority is allowed to be properly reigning with the proper power, the Ten Commandments can make a culture work and work properly. And so we should use our borrowed authority so that we can contribute to the grace and the glory of God to make the world a better place.
Regina Caeli, letare, alleluia, qui aquam merum isti portare, alleluia, resurrexit sicut dixit, alleluia, ora pro nobis Deum, alleluia.